Okay, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone on frequency, watching on YouTube as well as on the DATV transponder. We want to thank the Qatar Satellite Company for allowing us the opportunity to have a satellite attached to their satellite, their commercial satellite. Also wish to thank AMSAT DL, AMSAT UK, and of course the BATC, British Amateur Television Club. Today we don't have many people on, I'm afraid, for many reasons. Goodwood going on, all sorts of other activities, which sounds very interesting. But we have ZS1 Mike, Leon to follow, then Martin, G8KOE, and I saw Michael doing tests earlier, Echo Alpha 7 Kilo India Romeo. He's in Spain. Right, so without further ado, it looks like this is going to be a short net today, but good enough to say hi to everyone. And it actually, in a way, suits me to have a shorter net. So, Leon, to you, sir. ZS1 Mexico. Will you kindly take it from ZS6YI? One Mexico.
Okay, thanks Gary. ZS6YI in the group, ZS1MM saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, but I think it's all sort of good day today. Yeah, we're all roughly within an hour or two. Okay, as I've said earlier, it's cold here, raining, and I think it's snowing on the mountains. Yesterday you would never have thought of it, because it was like a beautiful summer's day. Anyway, seeing that my weekends are very, very, very short nowadays, I'm not getting around to doing much. But anyway, I did make up a seven pin balancing plug for the lithium ion battery pack that I made for that Raycall man pack radio. And it works perfectly. I had it going through the night, the battery pack on the balancing charger to charge all the cells and equalize them so that they're at the same voltage. And this morning, it was about 10 o'clock when the bell went and it said, okay, it's done. And yes, they were all 4.2 volts, all the cells. So that netted up to just over 25 volts. It's supposed to be a 24 volt pack. Okay, other bit of news. I was on the launch pad on Friday. Somebody came up on top of me. Anyway, so I had a look at the new launch ramp that they built for the KwaZulu-Natal University for their rockets. They are in the one corner of the launch pad. And it's a monstrous thing. It stands 6 stories high when it's erected. It's lying horizontal now. And there's a little bunker house off the pad where there's a huge electric motor with a hydraulic pump, and a control board, control panel, so that once you've loaded the rocket onto this ramp, you just press a button and it goes and up to the angle that you want it, and then you can launch it. But yeah, 6 stories high. They reckon in 2028 they will be launching satellites from there. So they're making very good progress with all their things. Otherwise, not much to say. I had a bit of a disappointment. Years ago I made some CD recordings from old tapes, and I wanted to copy them now for someone, and I noticed that when you get towards, before I even copied it, I just played them again. When you get to about 85% of the thing played, then it starts to distort. And it gets worse and worse and worse. I've never ever had a CD deteriorate. And I mean, they're very well kept. If you look at it, it looks like it's brand new. So yeah, I have no explanation for that. None of my other CDs have ever done that. So anyway, that's a pity, but it's not a great loss, not a lot of material lost, but even so, it worries me. How can a CD deteriorate? When CDs came out, recordable CDs, we tested one. We put some digital data on it and put it on the roof of the telemetry building for I think 2 months in the sun to see what high UV and IR and stuff was going to do to it. Brought it inside, put it in the CD player. Not a bit missing. Everything perfect. And then I put it at the end of a fluorescent light. In those days we had normal fluorescent tube lights. Because there's a lot of radiation there. It's so bad that the fittings, the plastic fittings, go brittle of those lamps. And I had it there for, I think, about 5 years. And we took it down sometime and tried it. Still perfect. So they are very, very robust. But for some other reason, these three that I recorded, just towards the end of the thing, CD was it starts in the middle, in the center, and then it works outwards. And yeah, when it gets to about maybe 12, 15 millimeters from the it starts like, it sounds like, because it's audio CDs, it starts to sound like the bias is not right, amplifier that's going class C. Anyway, that's enough from me. So Martin, over to you. G8 KOE for the group from ZS1 Mike.
Yeah, that was interesting on the CDs. Very interesting indeed. I was waiting to hear a bit of sound come back. Right, let's mute me down there. Yeah, I was busy just looking for something on the pad to try and sort of add to various things that I've been doing. But I'll start off with something simple, which I hadn't noticed, and I pointed out to others just in case. On OBS, let's go to the left one. So if one wants to add, at the top I notice application audio capture beta. If you click on that one, it gives you the option of selecting an individual item that's on the network, i.e. the output of OBS audio or the output of something else. Before I've had to sort of take desktop audio, but it's quite a useful application. I hadn't noticed it was there and never really bothered to click on it, but if you haven't looked at it, it's worth looking at it and see what it can do. Just click on it. It opens the application. Okay, and pull down menu, and you can select what you've got going. Let's cancel that. I'll get rid of it so that it's not in my setup. Remove. Just something that I was going to point out. Right, whilst we're on here, I've been playing a lot with All Star, as it was taking my sort of side of things, and the node I got, which was just sort of bolted to a piece of wood, I've tidied things up a little bit. I've stuck it actually in a box. I just breaking up a bit on the comeback. I found this box, and it is a bit of a tight fit, but it does just fit. But you have to cut some holes in the side for the audio connectors and such like. Not that I won't need them, but just to give you that extra bit. Anyway, it did just fit, and fits in. I even put the front on. I should have dusted the black bits off that come from the plastic, but that's what it looks like now. Quite humid with it. So that's what we've been up to, tidying things up. That's now sitting in the corner over there, which is a little bit neater than what it was. And with the All-Star side of things, I was using it. I connected to the VK Net side of things. There's quite a big All-Star network out there, and I was listening to it and I was thinking, I recognise that voice. And it's quite weird because I just switched on by chance, and it was a station called G4EJV, who used to be a TV engineer down in Sussex in the UK. And used to take the mick out of him because he was always mobile and slightly nasal sort of side of things, and he always used to come up with G4EJV mobile. So I just called through the net, G4EJV mobile, in the same way, and he came back, that's Martin, Jake KOE, isn't it? We had quite a long chat. So it's I always have trouble. It's VK6BB M, I think it is, something like that. I was trying to look up the exact call sign, but I couldn't see it on my pad. I'm trying to find it, but that was the All-Star side of things. I'm sort of pushing like crazy to try and get some people involved in it as a talkback sort of type channel, which I think it will work quite well. Let's go back to the centre screen, and I've been playing. That's what the Supermon on the older style of sort of things that looks like the dashboard. And as you can see, there are two stations connected, both G1DCG, who's just literally up the road of me, just near Bristol. But there's Allmon 3, which has come out, which I only just started playing with yesterday, which has an initial dashboard that starts off looking like that, and you can get the web portal or node links or whatever. But if you go into the bit further on, that's what you end up with, the dashboard of that one, which is quite neat. Information on it, there's a YouTube video which I would recommend. It's perhaps slightly out of date, but for All-Star Link 3, worth watching if one wants to have a go at it. I'm only just starting, I don't know my way around. Other things, you can go on to All-Star and you can look and you can find what stations are getting involved. I've been helping Nigel, and I see he's actually connected to the network, 2E0 EHH, so hopefully it won't be long before he'll be popping up on the All-Star link. And this morning I was also helping Roger, GRUZ, who's likewise got connected to the network, but he's using Allmon 3, the later version, which I'm not as conversant with, and there's a setup that's needed to happen because I think his PTT is in the wrong mode, so his node thinks he's transmitting all the time, and all sorts of things aren't. There's a thing called simple USB setup, and I didn't know how to get to it, but I now know how to get to it. So once I hear him on later, I can give him the information. That was a bit of help from David, who was the other station that was connected to me. We were looking at it earlier. Apart from that, I also listen to the American Net, which is also a big American Net. And the chap that I was talking to there was talking to someone in Australia, and they were talking about petrol prices of I think it'd gone up in America to sort of $4.50 at one time. And the Australian station sort of said that he used to live in New Zealand a couple of years back, and it was $8 a gallon there. So I think the American had said it'd gone down to $3 something, and the Australian said we'd love to have it at that price. So anyway, it's all good fun. It's you can look around with All Star and get some quite interesting nets. Can you fit me in? Oh, yes, another station. That's good. Of course, we can fit you in. That'd be good. Right. I can't think of anything else that I've been up to, so apologies there for not having a great deal. But All Star has been struggling my little brain cell to set various things up. Oh, I know what I didn't mention. The other thing I did set up, if we go back to the screen, I keep forgetting things. I should have made more notes. Was this application, which took me ages to work out how to set it up. I won't bore you with the technical details, but that means that you can operate into your node from your Windows PC. So you can dial it up, connect to it, disconnect to it. At the moment it's connected to my node, but I can disconnect from it, or I can connect to the Parrot, or I can connect to all sorts of things just by. So it's just a little keypad arrangement, and I can use the microphone I'm talking on now, and the speakers. So that's quite good. There's also two apps. DV Switch that works on Android that you can connect to your node once set up, and one for the Transform or something, I think it was called. I can't remember, for the iPhone. But you've got to pay for the iPhone one, whereas the DV Switch you haven't. And that's what when worked the after on the worldwide party, DATV party, the Australians that came through were using that. They gave me a call, so I learnt that was the one to go for, and went for it. It works exceedingly well. Ah, well, there's G1 DCG. It's just called to
V8KOE.
Yeah, he's obviously yeah, I'll come back to you in a minute there, David. I'm on the worldwide net, and you were just live because I didn't realise I had the audio turned up. So you're going out via the QO-100 when you were speaking. I'm just about to finish, but I see your link to me twice from G8KOE. Well, there you go. That was a test that I hadn't planned. Hope it came out. Things seem to be moving this end. Right, let's pass it to Michael there, Michelle rather, and hope his aircon is working well, that he doesn't need to use now. It's got cooler. From G.
Yeah, I said good shot on that, so I'm going to get my head down a bit, Daniel, back to you.
Yes, I think I'll disconnect.
Yeah, roger on that, mate. So, you have a good sleep.
I don't know who that is without looking at my node, but somebody was coming through on things. Anyway, I'll put a test card and disappear. Nice to perhaps catch you on the second time round. From G8KOE, passing over to Michelle.
Yeah, yeah, the aircon is working, Martin, but it's not absolutely necessary at the moment, although it's going to get hotter today. But the instant it was put in and working, the temperature just plummeted and it wasn't necessary. And it stayed that way all day yesterday as well. And it started off that way this morning, but now the clouds are clearing and the temperature is rising, and I'm told it's going to get up to 31 today, so I'm sure it will get switched on today. But of course it's not just useful for the summer, which is almost over now, but it's also useful for the winter, because it does get a bit cold over here in winter. Very cold, actually. And of course the way they build buildings over here, you know, apart from the very latest building, if you get a brand new one built today, they're a bit better, but traditionally they've never bothered about insulation. There's no cavity walls or anything like that, you know. So they all have a very, very low energy rating. But it is beginning to change. And like most countries, they lag behind what the technologies that are available today for building, where they use new types of material and are moving away from cement and bricks and all that kind of stuff into the kind of plastic type materials, which by their very nature are very good insulators, which keep out the heat and also keep the warmth in during winter. Anyhow, this All-Star stuff, I don't see its relevance to television, which is a shame, because wouldn't it be great if there were something like All-Star or Echolink, which is what All-Star really is, which is an oldest hat. Is that, you know, it's the same thing. In fact, you can actually access All-Star on Echolink. That's how old it is. Wouldn't it be great if you could actually do the same with DATV? And that will be very interesting, because there are no repeaters, no DATV repeaters anywhere near me. In fact, I don't think there's a single one in Spain, to be honest. And the nearest people to me are like 1,000 kilometres away, so there's absolutely no hope, even if there was a repeater, because it will be in the north, which is where most of the intelligent people are. That's why I'm down here. That would be marvellous, wouldn't it? And then, you know, I keep hearing people, particularly in England, talking about, oh, I'll see you on SQ and all that, you know, Collins repeater. And it would be nice, although they might not like it, you know, if I could participate occasionally as well. Maybe they prefer it that way, who knows. Anyhow, wouldn't it be great if you could have, I mean, there's no reason why not. You know, if we can stream video in narrowband to a satellite, we can certainly stream it over the internet. YouTube does it every day. So all it takes is someone to actually do it. It won't be me, because I'm not clever enough, but why not? You know, why not on a repeater put a gadget in, modem I suppose they call it, which can people can stream into over the internet. Why not? Wouldn't that be great? I think that would be called innovation, which is somewhat lacking in some areas. Anyhow, on your CDs, Leon, I've always been aware that the home recordable CDs have a shelf life of about 2 to 3 years. They've always said these are not for long-term storage, and it's called disc rot. And if you just search Wikipedia, there is actually a page, I'm looking at it now, with a title called Disc Rot, and I'll just read the first paragraph to you. It says disc rot is the tendency of CD, DVD or other optical disc to become unreadable because of chemical deterioration. The causes include oxidization of the reflective layer, reactions with contaminants, ultraviolet light damage, and debonding of the adhesive used to adhere the layers of the disc together. And it goes on, there's a whole wiki on it, on Wikipedia. So it's a known thing and to be expected, I'm afraid. And there's no way around it, really. You know, if you possess discs that were recorded a considerable number of years ago, the chances of being able to play them, depending on their storage conditions, of course, if they were stored in a vacuum, I'm sure you'd be quite safe, but in the dark, in the vacuum, they probably last forever. But exposed to the elements, and there's contaminants everywhere these days, no matter where you live. You know, we're breathing it in every day, aren't we? Traffic fumes and what have you, all that stuff. So that's the reason for that. There is a reason, and it's a well-known thing. I don't have anything to talk to about today other than just those two observations. Other than I was scanning across the channels on the satellite yesterday, and I came across a station. I can't remember his call name. Call sign is in England. It's called Chris, and I've never heard him I've never heard him on a net yet, but he does transmit test material, and apparently is new, fairly new to DATV, and still finding his way. And he was transmitting his audio, and I had to ask him what codec he was using, and he did respond on the chat, and he was using Opus, which was a codec I was completely unaware of. It turns out, there's a wiki on that, of course, as well. It turns out, if you haven't heard of it, it's a free software, you know, open software, written some time ago, but it competes with ACC. And it's claimed that it's better than ACC at low bit rates. So yeah, it's a good choice, I guess. However, he asked me what it sounded like, and I had to tell him that it sounded as though it was extremely bandwidth limited to me. But of course that could have been the material he's playing, because according to the wiki, it's actually better than ACC in terms of frequency response. So I don't quite know what's going on there. Why are you doing that? I want to. No, I want that open. Don't go close the window. Oh, she spoiled the lighting. You know. Yes, I'll switch it on in a minute. I'm being told to turn the air conditioning on. And I would if I could find the control. Oh, there it is. There we go. It's on. Then I'll have to close the window, I suppose. And now I've forgotten what I was saying completely, which happens a lot in this house. What was I talking about? I don't know. I've completely lost it. I think I was talking about Opus. Oh yes, the downside of it. That's right. Whilst according to the wiki and a few reviews on Reddit and places like that, the downside is it's not terribly compatible in so much that many devices, including my encoder, my hardware encoder that is, don't know about it. And a lot of players don't know about it either. And there's and the ones that do implement it rather badly. So it's not a particularly good choice. Now it could be, I can decode it, you know, I certainly can't encode it for transmission, but I can decode it. And as I say, to me, he said he was transmitting brilliant music. You know, I assume that meant full bandwidth off a CD player that hadn't been corrupted by bit rot. And to me, although he did say his hearing was very bad, I have to say that. I don't know whether he was serious or not. But anyhow, to me, it sounded bandwidth limited. In other words, not much top, you know, very restricted, and maybe dynamically restricted as well, I'm not sure. But it certainly didn't sound as good as ACC. ACC is extremely good at hi-fi, but not so good at very low bit rates. And I find that if I bang it with 48,000, which I'm doing at the moment, that is absolutely acceptable and quite good actually. But if I bang it at half of that, not half, 32,000, you get this bubbling, horrible. It sounds like bubbles in water effect on the music. On music, it's not too bad on speech, but it's very, very noticeable on music. So I don't use that because it just sounds horrible. So I guess that's the limitation of ACC, as some people have pointed out. Maybe Opus is better. I also asked him, as a result of using Opus, how much were you able to increase the video bit rate? And he was unable to answer that one. He said he'd go away and try and figure out what bit rate he was sending at. As I say, he says he's only just got started, and well, so have I, for that matter. I don't understand half of it. So that's it. If anybody knows anything about this Opus, please chip in. I'm eager to learn more. What I have done in my software, I've implemented so that at least when people do transmit 2576, that's PID, is it, an EC, whatever it's called, 257 and 6. That is what he was transmitting, and my software will now recognise and print on the screen OPUS, Opus. Another problem solved. Absolutely useless, of course, but there it is. Okay, that's it. So we have another customer on the running order, according to this, and it's Paul, OE8 PCK. So over to you, Paul, from EA7KIR in Spain.
My ear, but it's a bit fast, Paul. It's a bit of a problem there. I presume you've heard it. So I'll just take it. Hello to you. Welcome aboard. And very interesting, Mike. And don't forget, when the boss comes into the shack, you stand at attention and you salute. So be careful. You're on dangerous ground. You won't get your supper tonight. Anyway, I'm just trying something totally different. I dropped my audio bit rate slightly, and I've also dropped my frames per second. I just want to see what it does, if it does anything to the picture, but it doesn't look like it. I don't even think the audio is any better, but I thought I'll just give that a whirl. But let's see if Paul wants to come back in. Paul, would you like to have another go? Let me just get your call sign here. OE8 PCK. It was nice seeing you on the video the other day. To take it from ZA6. I think Paul must still be having a problem. Leon, very interesting on that launching or launch pad. It's going to be nice to see that thing going up. It's 6 stories high. They're starting to get into some serious rocketry. University of Natal. It sounds very exciting. Right, I'll pass it to you, ZS1 Mexico, Mexico, ZS6YI.
Takes long. Okay, Gary. Yes, ZS6Y in the group ZS1MM. Yes, that'll be very exciting. Oh, it's a cat at the back door making a noise there. Yeah. Okay. Martin's little Raspberry Pi thingies I know nothing about. He's All-Star. It sounds good. But, I mean, what frequency does it work on and how far does it work and things like that? Okay. Michael, yeah. Paul, he's not making it. I'm taking off. Okay, right, gentlemen, I'm going to run. I must dash through to Bredasdorp now in this rain. And, yeah, we'll see you next week. And Gary, nice looking at all your rolls collection there. That was interesting. Okay, so 73s from Worcester, and see you next week hopefully. Yeah, Saturday I'm at a barbecue, but Sunday I should be here. Right. So, Martin, I give it to you. G8KOE for the group from ZS1 Mike saying cheerio and have a nice weekend further on. And by the way, Gary, I couldn't notice any change in your picture quality or your audio quality. It was still excellent. So whatever you did, it didn't really affect it. Not on the size of picture that I'm watching.
Right, let's see whether we've got some audio just before we shut things down on the... Come on. Yep, there's some audio there, I think. Yeah, the All-Star there, Leon, it's a node. So effectively you can access your node, which is connected to the internet. It's a peer-to-peer system. So you can either have just you and somebody else, like you and Gary could connect together and have a chat, or you can have multiple people. What I'd like to see is a hub set up for talkback, as Mike was sort of saying. That was my aim. Would be really nice. A BATC hub or a worldwide net hub, or you could have both. So you can either connect to it. And if someone was monitoring the talkback, then if they didn't have any audio or something on their transmission through QO-100, etc., you could instantly tell them. Or if you wanted to sort of say, hey, with SQ, you can access SQ. Let's go over to there. That's looking at SQ at the moment, which is on the thing. So if I start the streaming, which will start, yes, it's gone green. So eventually, hopefully, I've not tested it today, but we'll assume that that will come to life. And there we are. That's going through SQ. This is a test on SQ, showing that you can link to SQ via the internet and join in the QSOs, etc. there. Yeah, it's already done there. I call in at times and join in. And then Mike does quite a bit, and on various other channels. But I'd like to see a All-Star node on SQ as well. I haven't chatted up yet to see if that'd be possible. So as you could access the All-Star node and join in on the chat that way. They've got TalkBack that's linked in. But if I now stop my streaming, it's obviously a slight delay. I won't bother to have the sound up, but hopefully it should. Yeah, not locked. There we go. So SQ has already got that facility. You just have to apply to the beacon keeper for the appropriate access. That was okay as a slight demo. I don't know what the other questions were there. And with Echolink, it's not the same as Echolink. You can have Echolink on All-Star, but you don't have to enable the facility in the config. It's not that it's the same, it's far from it. With All-Star, it's fully duplex if you want to, the way in which it can be set up, so you can have a fully duplex contact. And being totally peer-to-peer means that you can connect, as I said before, or not connect, or it is very versatile. You can, if you want to, on your own node, enable access from various other things. Like I said, you can access it via your phone if you want to. I said Paul says his sound channel was mixed up or something. I can't quite read it at the moment, but perhaps he wants to have another go. I wonder, do you want to have another go after this there, Paul? Do you want me to pass it to you? I'll see if he comes back on there, whether he wants to have another go. Yeah, so it did. So you can either have, as I have from a PC interface, you can get into it, so you don't have to have a radio, or you can have a radio. Mine with the aerial on, that's set up. Obviously, can access it. It's a radio one, or you can make a radioless node, or you can just make a Raspberry Pi set up on the TalkBack channel, so you just listen to it. Okay, Paul, let us know if you want it handed to you. But the options are fully open. You know, in my case, I've got a number of nodes set up for various things. Okay there, Paul. If you change your mind, come back and we'll pop you on at the end. So that's my little bit. And CDs, yes. Interesting on the degrading of. I didn't comment on the launch pad. Look forward to seeing things. And the temperature here is 17.2 at the moment. And we've had 5.6 millimeters of rain, but I think there'll be some more later. And yeah, fine on the aircon. I do and don't like aircon. I did like it when I was in Malaysia, because the heat seemed to hit you like a baseball bat when you went outside. I used to try to find places like banks and that to join the queue, just so you get in the aircon side of things. Anyway, I think that's about all I can add at the moment. So I'll say 7.3s for the moment. And oh yeah, the Rolls Royce, they look nice, really nice. Didn't realise you still had them all. But interesting on the best ride. But yeah, they do look special. And obviously there's a big demand for them with the factory expanding. Right. Yeah, SQ is still putting out its little test card thing. Hasn't dropped down yet. I can't remember. I think it's about 8 minutes it goes before it, 4 minutes to go before it drops off again. Right. EA7 KAR to take it. The Audio King G8KOE. Right. EA7 KAR to take it.
Oops. Now we've got a picture, I think. Yes, we've got a picture. Oh, too many buttons. Definitely too many buttons. That's fantastic, Martin. And who else said that on the chat as well, that you can actually access SQ with pictures? So I take back what I said about no innovation. I take that back 100%. No, that's fantastic. I need to find out about that, because that does interest me. How I'll actually do it at this end is a mystery to me at the moment. I've often wondered if ever I was in a situation where I had to take charge of a net, which I dread, but I'd be willing, how I would actually do it, and I'd have to figure that out. But now I've got an incentive, how to stream, not to be a net controller, of course, but how to stream. So that's really good news. I'll look into that. And just going back to this Opus thing, and the man called Chris, who's in Shropshire, and I cannot remember his call sign. It begins with 2LE, I think it is, something like that. He was, whilst he was transmitting this Opus codec, he was transmitting pictures, videos, and one video that he transmitted was of a racing car that he is building. And my goodness me, this was seriously impressive, not to mention seriously expensive, which he's funding himself. It's based on an Opel Quattro, but it's not an Opel Quattro anymore, and he hasn't actually driven it yet. Apparently he's been posted on YouTube for some time of his progress building this thing, and he started off, the first things he commissioned to have built for him was the gearbox and the gearbox and the bit that connects the shaft to the wheels, I think it's called, whatever that's called, I don't know, because it's four-wheel drive anyhow, so I suppose there's two of those. I don't know. I didn't understand much of it. All I could see was that it was beautifully done, impeccable engineering, and extremely interesting to watch, even if you're not into racing. But I do know that there are quite a few people interested in motor cars, so you should watch out for that video. I think you'll find it as fascinating as I did. And you can listen to Opus at the same time. Anyhow, that's it from me. Paul has absolutely said 3 times now, or 4 times, or maybe more, that he's not coming back. He's got things to check. He's obviously got a serious problem to sort out, and he'll be back next week, which I will not be. In fact, I won't be back for about 3 weeks, actually, because we're going up to Galicia in the north of Spain to get away from the heat, which is about to vanish here. And we've been no doubt met with rain and freezing cold. So we'll be taking some thick coats with us, but it's beautiful up there. I love the north of Spain. I'd like to live there, actually, because it reminds me of the greenery that I used to enjoy in Yorkshire in England, which you don't have down here, unfortunately. You just have the sun. And a distinct lack of 4 seasons. We only have 2 seasons here, hot and cold, and that's it. Whereas in England, of course, you've genuinely got 4 seasons, or at least you had when I left. Maybe it's changed, I don't know. Some people might say it's terrible all the time now. I know you get a lot of rain, which is what they get in the north of Spain, of course. So I really can't see much difference, except... except what? Yeah, good question. I don't know. Anyhow, thank you, Gary, for running the net. I'm so sorry that there's been a lack of support this week. Only 4 of us are managing to get on. I nearly didn't come on myself, actually, because I didn't have anything to talk about. But I came on just to support the net, to keep it going, because I wouldn't like to think that it will get dropped for lack of support. So I came on for that reason. But I managed to talk quite a lot based on what other people were talking about. So I guess I was able to contribute something, if most of it was gobbledygook. So from me, EA7KIR, back to Gary, who will no doubt close the net. So back to you, Gary, ZS6YI from EA7KIR in Malaga, Spain.
Okay, Michael, very good. No problem copying you at all. Beautiful signal today. Oh, well, it's been a rather short net, but still interesting all the same. And hello to Mike, MJW, G0 MJW. He's watching. And yeah, we had a number of guys on YouTube watching live, 32 viewers so far. And those that sent messages, let me just go through them. It's Ari Thor, Tango Fox 1 Alpha. He's in Iceland. He said it's getting cold now. And then there's Renee van Eden, a Delta Kilo 1 Kilo India Kilo from Dortmund in Germany. Hello to you. Nice to meet up with you there, Renee. And then there is Joe, who sent us some beautiful photos. You remember on all the tubes, the valves. Joe, he's a 9 Hotel 1 Golf Tango. And who else? That was it. Yeah. And then Ari just 73 from a TF1 Alpha. But all good. Sometimes a shorter net is nice. In fact, it suits me today. So I want to try and get back to the factory and see what the hell's going on with this particular mold. But talking about temperature, my daughter and her husband went up to St. Andrews for the weekend to play golf on the old course. And it was basically cancelled due to fog. So, and then they had an issue. They were going to fly up to St. Andrews. And then I believe it was bad weather at Edinburgh Airport. So they hopped on a train and trundled through, and then to not be able to play golf on the old course because of fog. So it was a useless weekend. But I'm sure they enjoyed it all the same. That's the area my wife hails from. She was born in Craigton, which is very close to St. Andrews, about 5 or 6 kilometers, and grew up in a place called Kirkcaldy. And there we go. And then emigrated to South Africa when she was 7 years of age. So she's more South African now than Scottish. Anyway, we often go back to Scotland, not as often as we used to. Her nana's passed on, and the aunt says she's only got a couple of cousins around. But it's still a lovely place to go to. I remember we spent one Christmas at a place called Craigendarroch. That was beautiful. That's right there by Crucky, where the Queen used to go during their vacations, and the little church there. Beautiful place. But anyway. Right, with that, I'm going to close the net. Wish everyone on frequency a very happy week. I hope I get this mold working. And we say hi to everybody on the DATV or the BATC net, the QO-100 wideband spectrum monitor. Say hi to everybody on that side of the thing, and then of course onto our own net. I've just put the little for Paul's sake, the little link to go back to our roster. It's nice to just read it off the roster. With that, 7-3, thanks very much. Interest in QSOs today. A nice Ratu today. No real technical, except that All-Star is getting more and more appealing, I must say. You're a good representative of the technology there, Martin. 7-3, guys. I'll pass it to you, Martin, if you'll wrap up G8KOE from ZD6 Yankee India. 7-3 all.
Yeah, from G8KOE. I think we've got it. G8KOE. Yeah, of course, OBS is what I use to stream. So it's easy. I've got it set up so that I can stream to SQ, which has its net. It is Sunday night, isn't it? That's right, from 8 o'clock onwards as an SQ net. And you've got H3 net, which is on Tuesday, I think, which can also join. And there are other nets around that are linked up to things. But yeah, no, All Stars a talkback system lends itself as a worldwide talkback system as well, and was very useful in the for me anyway, in the DATV party side of things, because the Australians could contact me straight away as soon as I'd finished putting my poor transmission through, which was because of networking problems. But yeah, things. It's interesting. I keep looking at. It depends what's happening on the PC. The more happening on the PC, then the receiver sort of plays up, I think, a little bit. It's all done on the one thing. But at the moment, things are quite happy. But no, good net. Always enjoy it. And yeah, I'm struggling a bit with some of the All-Star stuff, but particularly the All-1-3, which the latest, which having fought my way to get things to work, well, a lot of things that I'd played with in the past, because I used to use it on various repeaters that were down this way, and got used to setting it up for those. But the little Raspberry Pi that I've got at the moment, which is just sitting there, is my radioless node, which is running the latest software just to experiment with it. But I need to plug, I think, a USB dongle into it so that I can actually feed things, and it's just Wi-Fi connected. Works a treat. Well, if Roger's there, I have the information. Well, I won't pass it on to at the moment there, Roger, but are you ready to join and say a few words? That I can point you to later to the simple USB tune-up menu, how to get there. David and myself worked it out. It wasn't difficult. It isn't difficult when you know how. Right, let's go back to me. Hopefully, let's see whether Roger wants to join in. Okay, let's pass it to G3IUZ if you're able to take it there, Roger. I'm not sure whether he's ready or not, but ready or not, it's yours from G8KOE. Ready or not, it's yours.
Well, hopefully this is working. Good afternoon, everybody. I think it's all in the same time zone for afternoon. I saw Michael briefly at the end and his comment about there being very few on the net, so I thought I better make a quick effort. I literally just come up into the shack from lunch and after lunch. Time to make it say a polite I'm going to go and see what's on the net. So hello, Mike, and Gary and Martin, and I'm not sure, I
I just haven't had time to get the list up, so I'm not sure who else is on. Although I gather Mike is watching, and no doubt lots of others. Anyway, good afternoon to everybody. Yeah, I say it's just a brief drop in just to make up numbers, as you seem to be a bit short. Not that I have anything significant to contribute this afternoon, but other than to thank Martin for his help with All Star. We had quite a natter on the 2 meter talkback chat, trying to resolve the problem, and I'm pretty sure it's the reversed PTT, because there is a driver transistor that's got stuck in on the fob board, and I suspect the software has not been modified, so of course that will reverse it. That's why it's on permanent transmit, Martin. So I look forward to the further information you have for me on that, as how we can easily correct it. But yes, it's a challenge, chaps. But I certainly, in principle, it looks like it might be very useful to have a sort of worldwide DATV all-star link up. Anyway, Martin's pioneering. I'm backing him so far, but it's a new challenge. And as I say, mine is literally all over the bench here, with dangling wires and so forth and so on. It's I shall devise my own housing for it. I'm not going to go out and buy a box. I shall 3D print something once I've got it all working satisfactorily, because I think it could be parcelled up in a somewhat tidier manner. But anyway, that's if that happens, I'll show it to you. If it doesn't go up in blue smoke, as things tend to, once you put them in boxes, there's no guarantee that what works as a total kludge on the bench, put it in a box, and it's a surefire way of screwing everything up. So there we go. Right, so I look forward to further converse with you, Martin. Look forward to your further communication, which I shall look at in a minute. And I did have a brief look at the video that you recommended, and I saw what he got up to, so I should be able to follow that through. Good afternoon, Gary. I see you're just saying farewell. And what's Mike saying? Oh yeah, hi Mike. You're saying 733s as well, right? Okay. Well, I won't hang on here. I'd say it was just to sort of make up numbers, and Chai was still around. So I'll pass it back to you, Martin, and then you can close the net properly if Gary hasn't already done so. And and if Gary, if you're still canvassing, I would support Mike, as he said last week, 3 o'clock UTC would be ideal from my point of view. 3 o'clock UTC as a start time. If the Indian subcontinent isn't really sharing and it won't upset them. And obviously that would help the South American contingent too, would it not? So there we are. Right. So back to you, Martin, and you can tie the ribbons if needs be. So G3IU says, signing with Worldwide Net. Thank you for letting me in at the last moment. And we'll hopefully have a longer chat next week. I might even have something to show you. G8KOE, and whoever's remaining from the net, G3IUZ. Let's stick a picture up just to see, so we know where we are. Hang on. There we go. Right.
Yeah, okay there, Roger. Good to see you. And yeah, you need to get into the terminal window is where you need to get to start with. and type sudo ASL-menu. So if you can get to there, we're on the way. So as we did earlier. So terminal window and sudo ASL-menu. I'll get that up and then we can move on from there. Yeah, fine on tidying things up. I did find an old Bofang 888. That's what they look like with no heatsink and such on there. And this one has had the transistor bypassed, so it doesn't get very hot anyway. And there was somebody that was producing a Raspberry Pi with one of these wedged in the same case, and but you can get earthing problems. I do say that, which causes all sorts of buzzes and things. Power supply is quite critical. Seems to be the RF wants to get onto the power line as such, the feed power, and modulate things. I think it sort of runs along on the outside or something. But this one I forgot to take the microphone out, as you can see, which isn't needed, obviously. And this one had a problem with the COS line, and apparently it happens on very few. I talked to a friend of mine who had one do it, and it was easier just to bin it as such. But anyway, yeah, All Star. I keep pushing it. We'll see how we go. I'll see whether I can get it on SQ. I think that's the next thing to attempt to do that. Then one can drop in all sorts of comments, etc., with ease. Yeah, that's right, and Mike. It's slightly different to get to it on the later version. Actually, I might have I got the portal? Yeah, let's why not go for it? Center. Right, the latest version, you end up with something like that, and you go into the web portal, which I need to sign into. Let's just go back to the camera whilst I sign into it. Oh, come on. No, this is different on the later ones there, Mike. The way in which they're doing it, you could do it that way, but log into it. Let's go back to the center screen. You're logged in. You've got that, which has got all sorts of things. Down the bottom, you've got terminal, which takes you there. At terminal, you need to type in sudo ASL-menu. And return. Takes you to there. So you want node settings, all-star node settings, update node, and down the bottom is interface tune CLI. That'll take you to the simple USB tune up. In this, I can't go there because I haven't got one. So it'll say there's nothing to tune up if I go there. No tuning is needed in this model because I haven't got a USB dongle pumped in. But if you're watching that, Gary, that's how you get there. Right. I'll say some please close the net unless anybody else is going to pop up. And thanks, Gary. Hope he's all works out with his mould. It seems to be working very hard there. to get them to go. It's horrible when you're working to a time limit. It used to be always the same when I worked in sound and lighting, when we were supplying equipment to theatres, etc. It's no good supplying it tomorrow because the event has moved on. So you just had to make it wherever it was on the day. 7.3s. See you all on All Star. Or those that want to, don't forget the SQ Net tonight at 8 o'clock. There's a publicity for him from G8KOE.